Morning guys, I thought I'd do another video update today. I've got a bit of spare time. Just waiting for a contractor to confirm he's done some work today. But I want to talk today about perspectives and understand other people. It's becoming more apparent, and I'm not sure what's driving it. Beyond a lot of the, I don't think it's social media, to be fair. I think it's minorities shouting rather than speaking, and definitely not listening a lot of the time. And when I say that, what I mean is they've got one perspective, driving that perspective, regardless of how that affects others or how it interacts. But it's sort of counterproductive because this gets the other side riled up. But I see it a lot more, opinions over facts, you know. I mean, at the moment, Facebook's quite funny to actually watch because I have people from different perspectives. You've got somebody talking about, for example, the French don't want British soldiers patrolling Calais and whatever around the migrants trying to cross. Don't blame them. Brexit, sovereign countries and all that nonsense. Why would you want a foreign army in your country? You wouldn't. So, get it. I can fully understand why they don't want us British people there as a military force. The other side of that being people that are going, it's the people in Eton that are the problem, not the migrants. That's also incorrect. The people at Eton caused a lot of these problems that brought the people here in the first place. Don't get me wrong, but you can't blame the school. It's what these people went on to become, and they're very close networks. But obviously, even that is open to interpretation because you got Boris, Cameron, and and it doesn't matter which way you go. These groups form. I believe, what's his name? Tony Blair went to Oxford. A lot of this is because after they go to a certain, you go through an educational pattern, you interlink with other people within a political party follows a party line, so it doesn't really matter which school you went to. It's more the politics behind, I want to be a Prime Minister, and the people that will make you Prime Minister. You don't become Prime Minister, you get given it on a silver platter. We probably think, well, no, that's not how it works. It's exactly how it works, and I'll tell you why. Because if you don't toe the political party line, who's going to vote you in? You're going to start your own party. Sorry, if you have your own party, you've got to build enough people to vote you in, which means you'll have to write a party line to generate a party line that people will follow to elect you, and they also need to be elected all over the UK to actually become allow you to become Prime Minister and then to become an MP. That's why a lot of this stuff follows the same line. And for me, it's a sort of yin and yang type thing. Because you go Labour, goes more socialist. Well, does go socialist. Go Conservative, goes the opposite way. And the whole point is sort of zigzags up the middle. That's not by accident, that's by design. Whether it's mathematical by mistake or the fact that the system was set up that way in the first place. The jury's out on that one because we have a lot of things that have trends, and they're seeable trends. This is why things like Facebook and social media are becoming so powerful, because they can see the trends, they can see the changes, they can get involved. I'm not going to say manipulate. But they can sway things because they understand how people are thinking, they're voting, prodding the right information, swaying thoughts. So the point being is, this is where it comes all back to perspective. The problems around migrants, for example, is the majority are not economic migrants, or it's hard to say officially anymore, but I would say the majority are people that are coming out of war zones and have been for ever in a day. It's not a new problem. What we have is a stronger dislike of foreigners, media-wise, whatever, more recently. But at the same time, we're not looking at involvements of Western nations in a lot of the countries where these guys are coming from. That's what nobody talks about. Where did they come from? Why are they coming? That's not discussed. We don't want them in the UK. That's what's discussed. This is what I'm saying. The perspective is more important. Why are they here? And go back through how they got to Calais or wherever and start to understand the bigger picture. Now, I've got a recent friend that's actually out of Syria. Now, he would risk persecution going back to Syria. He would also risk risks to family, friends, and everything else. So the assumption you just go back. It's not so easy. Even when you were there, you'd have to understand the politics of the nation in the first place. When you have a secret service that are involved in every phone call you're doing, where you're going, you're being monitored. It's like the old KGB days. A lot of this stuff has been there for a long time, but we don't look at it in depth enough to actually to form an informed decision or opinion. My personal view is I have no problem with somebody wanting to leave an environment where it's turned to civil war. You'd have to be nuts to want to stay there. And you go, go and fight for your country. We're having enough problems with Boris here, and he's an elected official. So actually trying to create a new force strong enough to overthrow an entire country and trust that person you put in charge, and we have enough problems with Boris. So the perspective on there is important. Now we'll get back, let's throw all the big stuff out, let's get back to the smaller stuff. So the point being is, when you go through life, there's different perspectives from different people. Now I'm going to be drinking coffee this morning, so apologies, but I've got to drink it as I go cold. So one of the things I've learned over the years is to try and understand the person. Now, it may not even involve me talking too much. In fact, it actually often means just listening, because a lot of the stuff people automatically say, or you can actually gauge it on the way they act, the way they talk, what their thoughts are on things, without actually having to say too much. Now, for example, when I talk, like a cleaner or something, let's just say unskilled labour. A lot of unskilled labour will already be just working for the money. They may hate their job. So I don't normally ask them, do you enjoy your job? It's often a stupid question. Well, I'll ask is like, how's the job going? Slightly different wording, because then you're asking them basically, how's your day going, rather than do you love your job? At which point they'll normally go, no, I hate it here. But when you go, how's it going? They'll go, oh yeah, we're having problems with supply issues, we haven't got enough staff, we got this, blah, blah, blah. You're getting the right information. But there's no illusion. They're often aware, they are aware their job's not great. They may enjoy it, time fits in and all this sort of stuff, but they're aware it's an unskilled job. And I don't knock anybody for that, because I've done unskilled jobs before. I've just gone in there, when I come back to the UK before from the Philippines, I needed a car to get out of the town I was in. So I went and jet washed Eurofighter parts for a month, 16 hours a day. Crap job. In detergent all day. My eyes were had this pink, because it's jet wash with this detergent. The detergent's in your eyes, everything, even wearing goggles, because it goes into a mist and all that stuff. But you know what? I didn't go there going, this is a great job. I went there, it's paid enough, 16 hours a day, because that's the maximum that you do. and I just worked until I could pay for the car, and I was gone. So the point being is the perspective. Why am I there? What am I doing? A lot of the people don't really want the job. If they could get away with not doing it, they may do. Or other people like getting out of the house or whatever. But it's often more to do with other things rather than the job specifically. And then you go through, like, say, different people from, say, management, or you'll get a lot of people use big words or a lot of abbreviations. For me, a lot of that's programming. It's not actually something that's natural. And the reason this is important is understanding, like, the guy that's on skill, his focus is, or her focus is, to do the job and get what her objective is. Now, you may not have an objective and you may be in one of these jobs, but the point being is you will have something, you're just not aware of it. Whether it's to pay the bills, that's your objective. But the bigger picture is, do you want to just keep paying the bills, or do you want to move up the ladder? Which may sort of say, how did someone else get out of this? Hence, perspectives. So the point being is, you got that guy, unskilled, just doing his job. Somebody comes out with waffle on a daily basis, doesn't really understand anything, but they've gone through all the mannerisms, the training courses, the corporate hand movements. If you look at Theresa May, she does the basketball one. That's actually taught on a training course, because it's not good to sit with your hands like that. You've got to, if you can't think of something and with hand movements, you do a basketball, you sort of push it down. Sounds stupid, but there's a course for that. But the point being is, when they're programmed, they may have very low depth to them, in the sense of they've been that focused on that, they may not actually be very good at their job, because their focus is on their personality traits rather than actually deliverables. So you do find there's a lot of dead weight at certain areas of businesses because they haven't done that and then gone back and improved on other areas. They've primarily focused on that because they've seen that as a fast way to accelerate through a business. You don't have to agree with me, but that's what I've seen for years. But what I find is, in between, this guy, he, she, whatever they want to be, is focused on delivering the job. This one is focused on making themselves look good. In the middle there, you actually got the important bits. You're actually trying to find a job that you like and get to that job that you like. So you take a bit of this and you take a bit of that. This one is the focus on the job. This one is actually sell the job so that somebody promotes you into it. And this is why it's worth looking at how people did it. You know, because some people, like this side, they're normally hanging around the water filter, the coffee machine, whatever, constantly networking and befriending people above their level, which if you do some of the management books, they'll always tell you that. Always try and work with people above you, not below you, which for me is actually, I just find that wrong, but that's how it works in business. Why do I think that's wrong? Because, to be fair, I'm comfortable where I am, so I'm quite happy to help somebody else. So I'm not self-serving. It's not about me. I've done all that stuff years ago and couldn't care less. But that's my perspective and where I am. You know, at the end of the day, not interested in going up the ladder anymore. If anything, I'd want to separate out and do my own company. But the point being is, you want to suck up and get promoted, understand how those guys work, understand their perspective, understand how they do it, what they're doing, and just watch them. Because a lot of it is very, very easy. Manual labour side. Look at the focus, the guy sitting pulling the press down all day long like a robot. You will find those mundane tasks are counteracted. They're counteracted by football, grandkids, going on Saturday for going out for the night or something else. They're counteracted with something. They're not doing this and thinking, another 12, another 13, they're sitting there going, oh, I can't wait for the weekend. Wonder how the football went there last night, because I was out, I went out to the pub. They're thinking beyond that. But with the both, this guy is sort of going to go through that. So my view, I'll give you my view on where I recommend being. The guy that's doing this, like I said, they're focused on the football or whatever, but they're not focused on changing the job a lot of the time. This is why somebody will sit there for 20 years if they can. If you're wanting to progress, you do that job, if that's your skill set, and get yourself a skill set. So, for example, say you're in engineering or a press shop, or it could be anything, doesn't matter what it is, but you've got a steady income, and you may not have a lot of money for training or whatever, but there's this thing called YouTube. What you need to do is find out where you want to go. This guy over here may be what you want. Now, they'll already have a career path, and it is a bit of a key thing. If you're looking for a certain type of job, look for job adverts from agencies. They'll give you the criteria of what somebody needs. It sounds obvious stuff, but a lot of people don't do it. They go, well, I don't know how I could get that job. It's on the CVs. It's on the adverts. Needs to have 5 years experience, needs to have these qualifications, needs to have got a master's degree or whatever. They're on those job descriptions. Now, don't get me wrong, you go, well, master's degree, I can't afford that. A lot of time we don't need it these days. We've had a massive brain drain for the last 20 years. We've been outsourcing like mad and sacrificed the populations of the West in many places. I'm sitting in an industry that's in a very bad way. Has been for at least 10 years. Nobody wants to really admit it, but it's reality. They've lost a lot of very highly skilled people for two things: over promotion and low value. They don't value the staff enough. And I'm not saying it because I've got an opinion. No, because I'm purely mercenary. I just take money. I'm not after becoming a CEO or whatever. I want a CEO, like I said, I'll start my own company. Because I'm not a party line type guy. I never have been. I've got my engineering on the back of my neck that always comes out, because I'm not a person that will just say yes because somebody's told me to say yes. It's got to have a reason behind it. So I accept that. It could be seen as a flaw, but for me, I call it integrity. But the point being is, if you want to get to that job, research it. Speak to that guy. Understand him. You may find him completely irritating because his entire life will be based on himself or herself, because they normally are, because they're self-absorbed most of the time, and their focus, like I said, bouncing ball, stand like a peacock, all this sort of stuff is pre-programmed stuff to get to that position. So you've got to have the blend to get to that. Now, what you might actually want to do is go, well, I want to do my own thing. Well, if you want to go from this to somewhere in the middle, you don't need all of the stuff that comes with this corporate style of life. You may actually want to go, okay, I'm here. I need to put the same sort of dedication. You may not have to go to the gym at 5 o'clock in the morning to make yourself look pretty, but you may actually say, I need to go to night school because I lack some qualifications. I need to set myself some goals. I need to get some perspective on my life. I don't want to be here until I retire. I want to travel. I want to experience things. I want to have more money. I want to own my own house, have a new car, live in other countries, whatever it is. But somewhere in the middle, you can move up a few rungs by simply changing your perspective on where you are now to where you want to be. Because where you are now, maybe just churn it day to day. I'll go to school next year. I'll think about it. Reality is, you may find they're working online. They want to do stuff like with Excel, business planning, project management. Actually, I'm seeing a lot of that on people per hour now. There's other opportunities in there where you start going, okay, I quite fancy learning how to do that. And you've got YouTube. And you may find it quicker and easier to learn on places like YouTube than go and do the course. Because you may be able to do it on YouTube, pick up some work on something like people per hour, get some money in, and then pay for your qualifications. Because maybe your day job doesn't pay for it, but maybe you've got time. If you use the time wisely, you can get to where you want to be. One of the things I know some of you guys have some quite difficult situations, so don't think I'm thinking, oh, yeah, it's easy. It's not easy. My life wasn't easy at the beginning. I've had to work my way to where I am. Even now, I'm sat in a small place here in the UK, funding Spain, but also we have other businesses that we're starting in the Philippines currently. We've got a Wi-Fi company that we've started. We're currently buying a water filtration business. The point being is, we don't stop. We look at the next opportunities. I've got a air sanitizer system I'm looking at for public buildings. It's basically like a tube where it's got a fan and everything in it. I'm not going to go into the tech side of it, but it purifies the air. Sanitizes the air. Purifies doesn't do it the same. That sanitizing kills everything. It's a COVID killer type system. But the point is, as you can probably guess, constantly out the box, thinking of something else, thinking of moving things forward. How do I do this? What's next? And with work starting to drop into a manageable state, I can start looking at my other business opportunities. Even the crypto markets, I'm starting to pull that back together. Now, I've got probably about $10,000 sat there at the minute in tradable dollars that I just left for 4 years. Point being is, I can run that right up to 100,000, not quite easily, but with a bit of dedication. As you can see though, it's more than one thing going on at once, because like that market collapsed, I left it. And don't get me wrong, I should have run it up when the market was busy, but guess what? I was busy at work. It's only recently that I've had some of my time back. So what I will say, everything's about perspective. One of the key things I will say though is drive yourself forward. Don't accept, I've got this and I'll just keep doing it. Because if that's what you want, that's fine. You know, if you want your gold watch and working in the same factory for 30 years, fine. But there's also the problem with today with the drive of automation. That factory job may not be there in 10 years' time. You may still have to end up upskill, and it's better to do it younger than older. But the opportunity is always there. And I know, so, like I said, some guys I know have come from some quite difficult places, but I would also say it's recognising there's always opportunity. Always. You know, there's never a bit in this world where there is nothing. There's always something. I mean, there was a movie out about a kid that did the irrigation system with a dynamo, a bike dynamo. I can't remember what the movie was called, but the fact is, that's a dynamo that's on a bike out in Africa somewhere. And for me, it's something I learned when I was probably about 6 or 8. But a dynamo changed the irrigation of a village. Doesn't sound a lot. It did to that village though. But the point is, even the smallest things can become significant. And that's the thing. Always look for the opportunities. Like I say, understand people's perspectives. Understand how people work, because you may learn something from them. The main thing is not lock yourself away and just think, idiot, You just look at them and understand them, observe them, get some knowledge out of them. Move yourself forward. Thanks for watching.